Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, so you never miss a play. Jayden Daniels' response shook every corner of the football world, not because it was loud or theatrical, but because it felt raw, honest, and way too real for an organization that prides itself on discipline and identity. When he let those words slip, we played scared. And that's unacceptable. The air around the Commanders suddenly felt heavier, more electric, like something behind the scenes had been simmering for way longer than anyone on the outside realized. Fans, analysts, insiders. Everyone started whispering the same thing. If a rookie quarterback is calling it out publicly, imagine what's going on privately. And it didn't just sound like frustration. It sounded like a statement, a declaration. The kind of thing that hints at a locker room divided between playing safe and playing to win. That subtle tension between ambition and caution suddenly became the headline. No one wanted to admit was real, especially for a franchise with big aspiration and a roster stacked with potential. The Commanders are a big team, a proud team, and hearing a young star accuse the system of fear shook the foundation more than any fumble or interception could. People close to the situation claim this wasn't a heat-of-the-moment outburst, either. According to several voices echoing around team circles, Daniels had been biting his tongue for a while, trying to respect the hierarchy, trying to play the role of the humble rookie who follows instructions and keeps his head down. But those whispers say the tension grew with each overly conservative play call. Each moment where the explosive offense he leads felt restrained, almost caged, like it wasn't allowed to use its full potential. Folks in the organization allegedly noticed him getting quieter, then sharper, then more direct with teammates in private meetings. Some players supposedly felt the same way but were relieved someone finally said it publicly. And the timing made everything feel even bigger, because right when fans expected unity and focus, the inner cracks suddenly became visible to everyone watching from the outside. It feels like the Commanders are entering a phase where honesty is replacing diplomacy. And Daniels choosing this moment to speak up has created a surge of speculation that refuses to slow down. Insiders claim Quinn didn't take the comment lightly, either. Not in an emotional sense, but in a strategic one, like he understood the weight of it and the risk of letting that narrative snowball out of control. Rumor has it that Quinn immediately addressed the team behind closed doors, laying out a message that was part reassurance, part warning, part attempt to restore order before things escalated. His reputation as a player's coach is well known, but this situation feels different. Almost like a test of whether that leadership style holds up. When a star rookie challenges the philosophy directly, people around the building keep saying the vibe shifted. That conversations in hallways suddenly grew quieter when coaches walked by. That players huddled more tightly in corners of the locker room, whispering about whether this was the moment the team redefined itself, or the moment it revealed deeper issues. And for a squad trying to build an identity under a new era, this kind of public-private clash becomes more than drama. It becomes a possible turning point. Fans, of course, immediately took sides online, and the debate exploded with the kind of passion only football can ignite. Some defended Daniels, saying he's the fresh voice the franchise desperately needs, someone unafraid to speak truth even if it stings. Others insisted Quinn deserves respect and patience, arguing that rookies should learn before leading and that emotions can cloud judgment when pressure rises. But the real spice in all of this is how quickly outside observers noticed that both sides might be right. Daniels wants aggression, Quinn wants discipline, and the team needs both to succeed. That contradiction turned into endless discussion threads, late-night livestream debates, and fan breakdown videos analyzing everything from body language and press conferences to subtle comments players liked or ignored on social media. When a team as big and historic as the Commanders hits turbulence, the noise never stays small, and this time the noise feels amplified because the catalyst was the most important position in the building, the quarterback. Even more intriguing are the whispers that a few veteran players have quietly aligned with Daniels' sentiment, not openly, but through subtle hints picked up by those who hang around practice fields and facility hallways long enough to notice these things. A nod here, a smirk there, a quiet comment about wanting to let it loose, the small signals that become massive when stitched together. Those same whispers say some defensive leaders were actually caught off guard by Daniels' bluntness, not because they disagreed, but because they never expected someone so new to the system to challenge the coaching approach so boldly. And it's that unpredictability that has sent pundits scrambling to decipher what this means for team chemistry. The Commanders have long been known for talent that sometimes gets overshadowed by internal storms. But this moment feels different. Like a crossroads where either the team rallies or fractures, and no matter which direction it goes, the rumor mill is spinning fast. Too fast to slow down now. By the time the dust even began to settle, it was clear that Daniels' words had already escaped the realm of commentary and entered the realm of identity. People inside the league started talking, quietly but intentionally, about whether the Commanders' culture is evolving or clashing, whether Quinn's style aligns with the new era of fearless young quarterbacks, and whether honesty from a rising star should be praised or contained. And in every discussion, one theme kept resurfacing: great teams are forged in moments like this, when confrontation forces reflection. The Commanders are a big-time franchise with all the tools to turn this into a rallying point. But big teams also attract big expectations, big criticism, and big reactions. With Daniels emerging as a voice of passion and Quinn trying to maintain structure, the future now feels like a balancing act between boldness and strategy, emotion and order, risk and control, and everyone is watching, waiting to see which side gives first. The tension around the Commanders' facility has taken on a life of its own, almost like a presence that follows players from meeting rooms to practice fields. And the whispers around Jayden Daniels' comments haven't slowed down for a second. People close to the situation say the coaching staff has been treading carefully, not out of fear, but out of awareness that the quarterback's voice carries enormous influence, especially when it resonates with some of the frustrations simmering under the surface. And that's where the story gets even more interesting: the idea that Daniels didn't just speak for himself. He may have spoken for a handful of teammates who felt the same, but didn't want to ignite any internal fire. Rumor has it that the energy in the locker room has shifted from routine calm to a kind of alertness, like everyone is waiting to see what the next move will be. And for a franchise as big and proud as the Commanders, this is the kind of crossroads that can either unify everyone or push small cracks into something much larger behind closed doors. Insiders say Dan Quinn has engaged in long, candid discussions not just with coaches, but with team leaders, trying to craft the right response without escalating the situation. Quinn has always been known for composure, but this scenario seems to require more than speeches and patience. It demands aligning philosophies, redefining expectations, and maybe even changing the tone of communication within the team. The coaching staff reportedly examined whether their approach has been too cautious, whether the offensive strategy should reflect more of Daniels' fearlessness, and whether the team's identity needs recalibrating. And that's where things get delicate, because changing course isn't as simple as flipping a switch. It affects schemes, roles, chemistry, and egos. Those who've been around the building say these internal conversations have been intense, but productive. And while no one is revealing the details, you can feel that something important is shifting inside the Commanders' walls. Many fans have started speculating that Daniels' boldness may actually accelerate his rise as a leader, even though some believe he took a risk by calling out the team publicly. But this isn't just about one quote. This is about what that quote represents. The Commanders have always been a big team with big expectations, and when your young quarterback shows that level of conviction, it naturally sends a signal through the organization. Rumors started swirling that some veterans privately praised Daniels for saying what needed to be said, acknowledging that sometimes pressure builds silently until someone breaks the seal. They appreciated the honesty, the fire, the refusal to settle. Others, however, reportedly felt blindsided, believing team issues should stay internal. That mix of admiration and discomfort is exactly what creates the suspense surrounding the franchise right now, because leadership, especially in a high-profile NFL environment, isn't neat or unanimous. Sometimes it's messy, loud, polarizing, and powerful all at once. Meanwhile, analysts across the football world are dissecting every angle of this situation. They're reviewing Quinn's past coaching tendencies, examining Daniels' personality, and comparing this moment to other historic quarterback-coach tensions that eventually shaped entire franchises. Many are framing this moment as a potential spark, the kind that either ignites a new era of boldness or exposes unresolved philosophical differences. And because the Commanders are a major franchise under constant scrutiny, every word, every gesture, every interview clip is being magnified, debated, and reinterpreted by fans hungry for clues. Some analysts say this could be the moment that forces the team to unleash its offense, without hesitation, matching Daniels' explosive playstyle. Others warn that this kind of public friction can spiral if not managed carefully, but everyone agrees on one thing: the Commanders suddenly find themselves at the center of the league's loudest conversation around the locker room. The vibe reportedly feels unpredictable, not toxic, not broken, but charged. Like players are bracing for a shift, and that energy is contagious, especially when it comes from a position as influential as quarterback. Teammates allegedly noticed that Daniels has carried himself with even more confidence since the controversy, not in an arrogant way, but like someone who knows his words carry weight. Coaches, in turn, have been more attentive, more communicative, more open to adjusting strategies. Rumors even say small changes have already begun unfolding: tweaks in practice, more aggressive discussions during offensive meetings, and a noticeable effort from everyone to realign expectations for a big-time organization like the Commanders. Sometimes it takes a spark, even a controversial one, to break old habits and open the door to something better. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. As the noise grows louder, one truth stands out: this moment feels like the beginning of a new chapter for the Commanders. Not the collapse of one. The dynamic between Jayden Daniels and Dan Quinn is under a microscope. But the tension isn't necessarily a sign of dysfunction. It might be the growing pain of a team trying to find its true identity, led by a rookie who refuses to shrink under pressure and a coach determined to maintain order while evolving with his players. And that push and pull is exactly what makes great teams rise: the willingness to confront uncomfortable truths, no matter how this unfolds. One thing is clear: the Commanders aren't fading quietly. They're wrestling with their identity, reshaping their culture, and navigating a storyline that feels bigger than a single comment. And for fans watching this unfold from the outside, the suspense is only growing. What's fascinating is how quickly this entire situation transformed from a simple quote into a full-blown narrative, shaping the identity of the Commanders moving forward. Players reportedly begin having deeper conversations among themselves, not just about scheme or execution, but about purpose, about what kind of team they want to be remembered as. Some sources suggest that Daniels' statement cracked open a door that had been closed for too long, exposing a conflict between playing safe and playing bold. And when a quarterback challenges the system, it doesn't just change the playbook. It changes the psychology of the entire roster. Suddenly, even the quiet voices started chiming in. Even the guys who normally keep their heads down began hinting that maybe the team needed this jolt. It feels like a spark that could either forge something incredible or burn to hot, if not handled carefully. And because the Commanders are a major franchise with eyes on them constantly, the ripple effect of this moment is being felt well beyond the practice field. People around the league are watching, talking, speculating, trying to figure out whether this is the moment the Commanders evolve, or the moment they reveal the cracks they've been hiding. And through all this noise, Jayden Daniels continues to walk with a certain fearlessness that's becoming impossible to ignore. Insiders describe him as locked in, sharper than ever, not backing away from the firestorm he unintentionally created. Some say he's been more vocal in team sessions, speaking with the confidence of someone who isn't waiting for permission to lead. Meanwhile, Dan Quinn is reportedly adopting a more collaborative tone, finding ways to blend his structure with Daniels' urgency, creating a balance that could end up benefiting everyone involved. That's the part that keeps fans hopeful: the idea that conflict doesn't always break teams. Sometimes it forges them, and the Commanders, being the big team they are, seem to be standing right on the edge of transformation. Whether this tension becomes the backbone of a new identity or just another dramatic chapter depends on what happens next behind those closed doors. But one thing is undeniable: the Commanders are no longer quiet, no longer predictable, and no longer operating in the shadows. Something is shifting, and the whole league can feel it. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.